Hello, hello. I wanted to come in before we started this course and just have a look at some of the really basic features of Canva that we're going to need during this program. These features are super helpful to being able to create high quality graphics that make you look like the high ticket brand that you are. So the first thing that I wanted to show you, I've literally just come to uploads here and I've come to upload files and I have grabbed a picture of me. So one of the first things that we want to do is we want to remove the background. So in order to do some of these things and to have full access to Canva, we are obviously on a Canva Pro. I really strongly recommend, if you only ever have two softwares, you have Systeme and you have Canva Pro. But what we're going to do is we're just going to click background remover. While it's removing the background, this is how we crop. So we literally can pull in the areas, and I like to pull in the areas as close to the image as I can, like this. So now we have an image with no background, okay? Now, if you'll notice here, like my skirts may be a little bit dark, what you can do then is you can come to edit, and you can play with some of the settings on it. So if you come up here to adjust, you can turn up the brightness on the image. You might turn up the contrast. If you want to turn up the highlights, drop the highlights out, add shadow, take shadows away. So that there automatically made my skirt a little bit brighter. You can play with vibrancy, for instance. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can play with here to make your image stand out a little bit more. Remember, brightness really pops in the newsfeed, okay? So the next thing that I want to show you is, okay, if you want to insert a rectangle for whatever reason, if you press the letter R on your keyboard, you're going to get a rectangle, okay? So that's a keyboard shortcut that you can use. Up here is where you're going to come and you can change the color of that rectangle. You also have the borders here where you can add a border, for instance, like this, to be able to have a border on your shape. You can come here and you can change the color of the border here. So for instance, we might go a white border. You can change the width of the border. You can change the style of it all here, okay? You can round off the corners if you want to round off the corners on your shape as well. So you can do the exact same thing. If you press a letter C on your keyboard, you will get a circle, okay? And again, same thing with that. If you press an L, not inside the circle, obviously, but if you press an L, you'll get a line. So these are just all keyboard shortcuts to be able to move through Canva fast, okay? The next thing that we want to look at is I want to show you how to do layering in Canva. So say I had this circle here. I'm just going to get rid of that letter L in the middle of it. But say I had this circle here and I wanted to put it behind, okay? So what I'm going to do is come up here to position and I'm going to go backward. Now, this is really important if you have, say you have something where there's like 3 or 4 things in it and you want to push it to the back. So this one here only has one layer, so I can literally push it to the back so easy. But otherwise, you might have to go backward and then choose how many layers back you go. But this is how you layer in Canva. And then obviously, if you want to bring it to the front, you bring it forward again. Now, if you want to, you can take an image of you, you can right click and you can go copy, right click again and you can go paste. I'm going to allow Canva to do that. So now I have 2 versions of me. So sometimes you may want to create like a shadowing behind you. So what you're going to do is take the version that's behind and you're going to go back to edit. And this is where you can either come in and you can do like duo tones or whatever. You can also go back up to adjust and literally just blow out the brightness on it, or go the other way and make it really dark. And then literally you can just layer an image over you. Okay, so that's how you can do a shadow. And literally if you go the other way, whoops, don't do it on the top image, you go the other way, you can make it really white so that there's like a faint shadow of you like this. So this is another tool that you can do. It starts to really come into play as we start to want to create really gorgeous graphics, okay? So the next thing that I wanted to show you, if you have an image and you wanted to fade it a bit, okay, so this is where we would use this situation. Let me get rid of that. So let's just say we have an image, like I really like this Facebook image, but if I put this in the background, So if I go right click, set image as a background, as you can see, it's really dominant and I don't stand out. So we can do one of two things. We can come up here, which is transparency, and we can just white it right down so that it's just there and it's just able to be seen. Now, if you wanted to, you can also press R on your keyboard and put in a rectangle. Make the rectangle the size. Again, you can come and you can play with transparency. Now you can see here that the rectangle is sitting on top of me, so I'm going to go position backward. So it's now sitting behind me, okay? So you can literally play with the transparency on this one here, but this is how you can do an image with a branded color behind it as an example, okay? So you can come up here, you can change the color. I use blue a lot. The other thing that you can do with the image is you can click on it, you can go edit, you can go to shadows, and you can put a drop shadow behind it as an example. So there you have something sitting as well. Now, I really hate a straight cut off edge like this. So I'm just going to get rid of the drop shadow for a second. If you make a mistake, Control Z, Command Z allows you to go back, or of course you can come up here and go back again. So I really hate this edge. So when you have a sharp edge like that, there are a couple of things that you can do. The first one and the easiest one is go looking for elements. So for instance, if you go to Canva and you search blobs, you can find all different sorts of blobs that you can use, okay? So you might choose to use this one. This is how you turn it. So you can turn it like this. Turn it a bit more. As an example, you might put that. So you can also then just put it behind. I don't like that one. That's not going to work. Let's do this one. Okay. So turn it like this. And what you can do is Control C, and you can send one of them. So you can right click, go send it backward like that. Then what you can do is you can paste the same one again, and then you can crop it. So you might crop it like this. Crop. Freeform. It's not going to allow me to. But this is how you can start to play with it if you want to hide the edges and just make it a little bit different, okay? So you can just start to put the shapes in like this. You know, you might turn this one so that they kind of line up. So that's one way that you can do it. It's not the way that I tend to like to do it, but it is one way that you can do a sharp edge. Another way is you might put something in front of it. So you will come back to elements again. Let's search for, say, a computer. Oops, daisies, that didn't work. So we're going to come back up here. We're going to scroll across to frames up the top here. I'm going to look for, say, this computer here. You can make it a little bit bigger just so it completely covers that thing. And then what you're going to do is you can put an image inside that. So let me come to my uploads. This is literally just a screenshot of me on a workshop or a live video. I'm going to just double click when you want to move the image. So like that. So now I have something that completely covers it. The other option you can do, shrink it down, and you might put yourself above it like this. So you can, again, it's like playing with layers. And then if you wanted to make this even more fancy, you might add some blobs behind it. So we'll come back and we'll do blob like this. We'll have to scroll back through the menu up the top here to graphics. And let's choose something like this as an example. You can play with it. You might want to turn it around a bit. And then you can just go here, change the color to one of your brand colors. Let's make it orange that stands out. And again, position backward, right? So now you're starting to just add a little bit of interest to the image, okay? So there's a ton that you can do. I just wanted to show you the basics that we're going to use. So the layering, searching for stuff, putting pictures in, actual mock-ups of your products do exceptionally well for sales, okay? So if you come down the side here to elements, let me get rid of the search here. and you come right down, you see a bunch of frames. So this is super helpful. If you can show people what they're buying, it makes a huge difference. So you might put a smart, like a tablet in, shrink it down here. This is how we make a mock-up from scratch, okay? You guys are going to get mock-up templates, but I just want to show you how you can be a bit creative. We're going to go backward. We might go backward again like this. And you might just come and put a screenshot or the front cover of one of your books on. So I don't know if I have anything in here. Let's just pretend I'm going to put the funnel in, okay? So there you go. I've dragged a funnel in. And then, of course, you can click on these. You can come to edit. You can put drop shadows on them as well. Play with the angle of the drop shadows, the width, the color, all of these kinds of things. So I might go to white in this case. But showing people what they get like this makes a huge difference to your sales. It's got massive numbers of increased sales as a result, okay? So these are the main things that we're going to do. Now, if you were wanting to put text on it, so you can click out of it, if you press the T word, the letter T, you can get text, and then you can type your text in here. And then literally you can drag text like this. You can come up here, you can change it so you can search it. So you can come up here, you can search calligraphy, you can search handwriting, you can search a whole bunch of different things. And then what you do is you're going to make your text bigger, like this. You can come up here and you can put effects on it. So I quite often use a shadow effect. I might put a brand color behind it like this. Or the other one that I use commonly is a lift effect, and you can just make it more intense, okay? So this just makes your text stand out. Something else that you can do on these kinds of graphics on your website is you can put in a rectangle, for instance. So let me just click out, put a R, press R for rectangle. And you might put like this, and then you can press T for text, for your text to come. And you go number one or something so like social proof, Amazon best selling, can't spell, author, for instance. So you type your text, you put your text into here. So you might change the color to be, say, orange. So you can literally just play around with this. Obviously, we're going to make it maybe a little bit skinnier. You might want to round off the edges a bit so it doesn't look so harsh like this. Pitch, so make the text is a bit bigger. And then you might want to put, copy it. So Control C, Control V, put that one and make it like black, for instance. You can drop the opacity. So I'm just giving you ideas, and once again, you're going to push it to the back. So this is how we can create like a little bit of a drop shadow on it, right? And you can also maneuver with your arrows on your mouse. So you just click out, click back in, and you can move it down with your mouse. So this is how you can create social proof on it. Again, it's just getting a little bit creative and helping you to stand out. This one here we might need to go a bit bigger. Like this. But there you go. So that's some of the basics. I just wanted to show you the basics of how to use Canva and some of the features that we're going to be using in Canva as we kick in, and to give you some basic design ideas. So one last thing that I want to show you, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to add a page. So if you didn't want to have so much layering, as an example, what I like to do is I literally blow the image up to the entire page and center it. Then I click share, I go download, I go transparent background, I click on it, I go to the page, which is page 2, I click done, I click download. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open up another free software. This is Photopea. This is completely free to use. You just go to photopea.com. Now in here we're going to go File and Open. We're going to download the image that we just did. Now what you're going to do then is come over here to the eraser tool. Now sometimes it's sitting here and sometimes it's hidden here, but you're just going to literally click on your eraser. You're going to go to the 24 fuzzy one, and I like to come up to about 80-ish. And then what you're going to do is you're going to just take, like just kind of rub out some of the harsh edges. Obviously don't do a straight line with this either, you know, but you can rub out some of the harsh edges then if you just want to soften the edges off a bit. So if you've ever seen images where parts are softened, whoops, that's how they do it. Now, of course, if you make a mistake, Control Z again. So make sure you're taking your finger off your mouse when you're doing this, or you will be redoing a lot of it. But this is how I soften a lot of the edges so that I don't have these harsh lines, okay? So like this, for instance. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go, I know, obsessive, leave it alone, Faith. Go to File, go to Export As, go to PNG. I just agree with everything. Then what you can do is you can delete this image, go to your uploads, and bring it back into Canva with a softened background. So now you've got something that is actually softer if you want to use it somewhere. So there you go. That is like Canva Design 101. I just wanted to show you some of the basics to get you thinking before we run in and we actually need all of this stuff for your design. So there you go. Have an amazing day. Bye for now.